Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jata Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Guru Gaura Gandharva Govindangringanaya Saha Vande Prasadato Yesham Savaramba Subankara Gauravag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam Gauravaivavam Gaura Sankirtanomatam Gaura Korunya Sundaram Guru Rupa Hrim Gauram Radha Ruchi Rucharitam Nityam Naumi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai Srimad Prabhupadamboja Madhupevyo Namo Namaha Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himavadivyascha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Adadana Srinam Dantairidam Jache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padamboja Dulisham Janma Janmani. So we wanted to say something in praise of Lokanath Goswami Prabhu, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Lokanath Goswami, we're told, is a Parshada Bhakta Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and one of his eternal associates. And while living in this world, he's not very much of this world or showing much to do with this world. These great devotees who descended at that time, they had the internal assessment capacity to sense, identify holy places, the divine abode, the presence of the divine abode within this world. When Krishna appeared here 5,000 years ago and displayed his divine pastimes, you say in the course of time those things were not obvious from an objective point of view. But those who are internally connected to that world can detect its presence. So we're told that Mahaprabhu, he instructed Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to resurrect these holy places. We have the good fortune of when we go now, we're told this is Kali Ahrad. This is where Krishna leapt from the Kadamba tree into the waters of the Jamuna and punished Kaliya. Right? Or this is, Keshigat, or Rasastali, Sevakund. There are now memorials or markers for these divine places. But at this time, none of these things were obvious or even known for the most part to the people in general. But great souls like Lokanath Goswami Prabhu, they can sense that. And not only sense, but enter into the current of that. It's still active. It's not that it's just a passive representation, something that was there a long time ago and now we're honoring that. But it appears in this world for some time. We call it prakat. Aprakat means non-manifest, Non-manifest or unmanifest doesn't mean non-existent. Just means not manifest or obvious in the objective world. So, Lokanath Goswami, and I mentioned before, and an example, like in the modern world, we think of like Chernobyl, right? So in Chernobyl, there was this nuclear event, right, so long ago. But if you go there with the right instruments, you can detect still the radiation of this event that happened so long ago. Right? If you have the instruments to detect. So it's a crude example, but you understand, Krishna displayed his divine pastimes in Prapancha Leela, Vrindavan manifest in this world, we say roughly 5,000 years ago. But for these elevated souls like Lokanath Goswami, they can, the radiation, we could say, of that Leelic manifestation is still living and still radiating for them. They can perceive that. And also enter into the current of those pastimes. So he wants the least to deal with this world. Right? So much so that we're told, not only is he living in seclusion, they live like under a tree practically, and answering the calls of nature in the woods. And what are we told? The classic image we have of the Babaji is they're there meditating, and they might have a water pot, right? Because still drinking water. So what are we told about Lokanath Goswami? He has his water pot turned upside down. That means, because if it had water in it, someone might come and go, Babaji, can you give me a drink of water or something? And then you have to attend to them. He has his water pot turned upside down so people won't even ask him for a glass of water. And we think, well, that's so cruel, or rude, But he's so wholly absorbed internally in the upper world that cannot tolerate the least distraction of this world. Not rude, crude, or insensitive, but to interact with such souls, who is qualified? Like we've heard from Srila Guru Maharaj about Banshidas Babaji Maharaj, that his behavior was so unusual that Saraswati Thakur warned people, like, if you can't go in his presence and maintain your faith and understand you're in the presence of an exalted Vatsalya Rasa Bhakta, then it would be better that you don't go, because the outcome will be offenses on your part. So it requires a qualified person to recognize such a personality. And we might think, as we've heard, these two categories, Bhajananandi, Gosjananandi. The Bhajananandi engaged in internal culture. The Gosjananandi extending that internal current to others. We'll think, well, that's the one that will be most beneficial for us. That's true. But there may be another type of devotee for whom the Bhajananandi is meant to give some service connection. So we will see, not only is he keeping his lota upside down, but he's also not initiating anyone. So he's like, why is he in this world? He's barely in this world. It's true. And Mahaprabhu has his internal state, half internal, half external, and external. And even external means not external consciousness, but some awareness of the external world. So compelling, so enchanting, heart-swallowing, devouring is the upper world that he can barely maintain consciousness of the external world. That sort of thing. Like Shiva and the Daka Yagya in the Bhagavatam, where Daka felt that Shiva had disrespected him by not acknowledging his presence. And there we hear the famous verse, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. She was saying, I was not disrespecting you. I'm just so absorbed in Vasudeva, Krishna, and the upper world that I didn't notice you. It was not any slight disrespect or intended insult. Just, I can't withdraw my consciousness from that plane. It's not an option for me. So don't feel offended, no insult intended. So Lokanath Goswami, it's also known, he won't accept any disciple. And we hear that Mahaprabhu sometimes, in the later days, pastimes, as we heard earlier, he's crying out, Bap Pundarik, Bap Pundarik, Father Pundarik, where are you? In Radha Bhavaduti Subalita, he is enveloped by the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani, crying out for Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who we hear as Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Radharani's father from Krishna Lila. So he's calling out sometimes like that. But other times, Narottam, Narottam, where is Narottam? And the devotee saying, who is this Narottam that he's, his heart is pining for? The great Acharya, who will become Srila Narottam Das Thakur, our song book is mainly the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Thakur. Right? So that Narottam, at the time, he's young, leaves his family, goes to Vrindavan, and Guru Maharaj points out, interestingly, just for the sake of Leela and these pastimes, bypassing Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, connecting with Lokanath Goswami. They were there at the time. But what does he perceive in the persona and the heart of Lokanath Goswami that is so compelling that he wants to offer himself wholesale to him? Right? That Narottam Thakur, who will later have 100,000 disciples, convert the whole of Manipur, right? Have unparalleled preaching, so much so, as we told, Bhaktivinoda Paribar, it's also called the Narottam Paribar, before Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, what is it within Lokanath Goswami that he is irresistibly drawn to? What heart current? And so much so, that he's willing to accept the lowest type of service, the least type of seva, as something worshipable to him. And interestingly, we see this current throughout. We're told Ishwara Puri, who takes the role of the guru of Mahaprabhu, what are we told beyond his spiritual understanding of things? What is given as a reference to his qualifications? That in the final days of Madhavendra Puri, when he's on his disappearance bed, he's cleansing his stools and that type of seva, because he's bedridden. And this divine state that is glorified by Mahaprabhu to Nityananda and others, that we're told, oh, Ishvara Puri, he's doing this sort of seva for Madhavendra Puri. And what from a material point of view is the most objectionable? He does not hesitate to embrace this seva as to indicate how exalted he considers Madhavendra Puri, that this least aspect of seva for him will enrich him spiritually. And he takes the role of the Guru of Mahaprabhu. So there's a Chinmoy thread connecting this type of thought. Right? When we hear so we're told Lokanath Goswami, as we know, he's doing his bhajan in one place and answering the calls of nature in the forest. And like that. There's no, established latrines or toilets, anything like that. But Narottam Thakur finds out about this, and he will go to that place and every day clean that and make it very beautiful and, nice. And Lokanath Goswami, after a while, he's noticing the place where he goes to answer the, like, it looks first class. And he's thinking, what is this? This is so odd, so peculiar. And someone informs him that this young boy, Narottam Thakur, he's going there every day and doing this. And this melts the heart of Lokanath Goswami, and then he realizes the seriousness of Narottam Thakur, demonstrated by his willingness to embrace this, unhesitatingly to embrace this type of seva as an honor to him. Right? Showing such vision he has, that all aspects of his Guru are divine. All seva that he can render to the Guru is the highest type of seva. And that melts the heart of Lokanath Goswami. He accepts Narottam as disciples. Like, all right, I'll have one disciple. You may think back, oh, he was that Bhajananandi with the upturned water pot. He's not going to initiate anyone. He has no interaction. He'll initiate one disciple. And that one disciple will initiate 100,000. Right? So then we say, what is his contribution to the line? Narottam Thakur. Right? Besides his, and that internal culture, it's not abstract thinking or some type of meditation in the conventional sense. But Srila Guru Maharaj reminds us, the bhajan of the higher devotees is direct service. They're serving in the upper world. They're not just sitting with their eyes closed thinking about divine things. They're rendering service in that plane. The Shastric reference for that is in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami, where he tells of the devotee who's meditating, and we understand what kind of meditation. He is making sweet rice in the upper world. Right? That's his meditation. He's doing some seva there. And then he's wondering, has it cooled down enough to be offered? Right? This is all in the internal. And so he touches that sweet rice, like has it cooled down enough, and it burns his finger and blisters his finger. And so when he comes out of his divine trance, in this world, he sees his finger is blistered. That gives us a hint of what's going on there. Right? So rendering service in that plane. And this is also described in the Jaiva Dharma. And once with Srila Gurudev on his veranda in Calcutta, Kolkata, we were discussing this, and he said that there's mention of a devotee who is told by his guru that at a particular time in the pastimes he'll render a particular seva. And so Gurudev said, he goes, but that one thing he will do, he said, I'm saying, but devotee wants to be serving all the time. But here it's told, he'll do this one particular seva at this particular time. And around that time, remember Nripin Prabhu, this elderly, sweet, simple-hearted Vaishnav, he had such faith in Srila Gurudev. Like if he was sick, Gurudev, was a medical practitioner of homeopathy or other things. Gurudev would hear from him and give him some medicine. He'd go like this. He didn't even look to see what it was. Just, he'd put out his hand. Gurudev put something in his hand, he'd just take that. He's not asking. Guru Maharaj would sometimes say, if you ask why, you're not qualified to enter the plane. So, but one seva he did is he would bring the paper and put it on Gurudev's table. And then after something, say that, and then give his dandavats and go back downstairs and continue with the Pat Kirtan program in the temple. So I suggested to Srila Gurudev, I said, well, like Nripin Prabhu, I said, once a day he comes up here and he gives you the newspaper. That's like his seva in the upper world. And then he returns and he's doing so many other things in the regular seva. But once a day he comes up and gives you that newspaper. And Gurudev said, oh, that is all, that is okay. That we can accept. But his idea was the devotee wants to always be serving, not just have one thing. Yeah. But still, Rupa Goswami is given that example. So Narottam Thakur, in his worship of Lokanath Goswami, it's noteworthy, Srila Guru Maharaj points out, that in one of his songs, he's expressing his heart's inner aspiration, the inner aspiration of his heart, that he's saying, when will my Guru, Lokanath Goswami, come and take me by the hand and put me in the care of Rupa Goswami? I'll get the service of Rupa Goswami. So he's saying these two things are there. He has this aspiration, like we say of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat and the pranam, Rupa Nuga Sri Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha. There is this aspiration. He's saying, and how is it properly realized? He's saying, not, I don't need my guru anymore, or forgetting about my guru, I'm going for this. No, he's saying, when will my Gurudev come and take me by the hand and put me under the care of Sri Rupa and her associates? So very sweetly expressed there. And then of course Narottam Thakur writes so many wonderful songs, including Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, which has come to be indicative of the, in the case of Srila Saraswati Thakur to Srila Guru Maharaj, the transmission of the Rupa Nuga line, the recognition of Srila Saraswati Thakur for Srila Guru Maharaj, and ordering him to sing the song of Narottam Thakur, describing that Rupa Goswami, the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami, the service of Srila Rupa Goswami, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das, is the be-all, end-all for the lives of the aspiring Gaudiya servitors. So, and Srinivasacharya has cataloged all the qualities, the characteristics, qualities, glories of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan and his Sad Goswami Ashtakam, which each line ends, Bande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyago Sri Jiva Gopalako. Gopal meaning Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Gopal Bhatta Goswami comes from the South India. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that in the Kali Yuga, even South India, religion will still be strong there. Even as the Kali Yuga influence is spread, South India will be particularly strong. And we see in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu that when he went on his tour, when he reached South India, he stayed at the house of, during this time, the Chaturmasya of Balaba, who is it? Venkatabhata, Venkatabhata. And that means the family of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, which includes Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. And there at the time, Sri Sampradaya, the Lakshmi Sampradaya. So they're the most highly respected South Indian Brahmins. Without trying to go into the details, the varnashramic structure of the society at the time of Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they were, how do you say, varnashramic qualifications were in question. Right? So when it came time to publish the Hari Bhakti Vilas with Vaishnava Sadachar, the proper behavior for the Vaishnavas in this line, it was given in the name of Gopal Bhatta Goswami so that all the Brahmins, Pandits of the day would find this acceptable. And we're told Gopal Bhatta Goswami, like Srinivasacharya is saying, Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kunipano Shadharma Sangstapako. He's Shastra Nipun, expert in extracting the inner meaning, the true meaning of the scriptures. So we get a picture of Gopal Bhatta Goswami madly extracting slokas from so many different books. Because there is an ocean of Bhakti Siddhanta, so many books, so many slokas. When anyone he sees that is giving evidence of the superiority of Krishna conception, Radha Dasyam, he's extracting that, the line of Mahaprabhu, and has a room full of his notes, so to speak. I mean, we get just, walls of these, because for him, he has the Shastric vision to see wherever it is, he can extract that meaning, pretty much. But we're told, so Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami, they take all of his notes and like, all right, well, this goes in this pile here, this goes here. They give structure to it and present it as the Hari Bhakti Vilas. But in his name, so will gain acceptance. And as a a first-class South Indian Brahmin, he's also engaged in the worship of Shalagram Shila. And we're told he has 12 of these Shalagrams that he worships. And then the Shringa Chaturdashi comes, and on that day, he's meditating on the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj and Nrsingadev, and how reciprocating the love in the heart of Prahlad Maharaj, that Nrsingadev comes out of stone. Right? And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he's thinking, Rupa Goswami tells us that one of the hallmarks or the signs of a pure devotee is they're always appreciating the devotion of another devotee, while thinking themselves unqualified, unfit, lacking devotion. But they are always recognizing the devotion of others and expressing appreciation for that. So Gopal Bhatta, he's thinking, Prahlad Maharaj is such a great devotee. Out of, the love in his heart for the Lord is so great. As Gurus like to say, this expression, what is the infinite? Everywhere center, nowhere circumference. And from a stone pillar, Nrsingadev came out. And he's saying, he's attributing that to the power of the love in the heart of Prahlad Maharaj, that the Lord appears out of stone for him. And then what does he think? So he's glorifying Prahlad Maharaj, and what about himself? But yet this stone-like heart of the one known as Gopal Bhatta, oh, I'm hopeless, helpless, no devotion do I have, just a stone-like heart. He's thinking that way. And he goes to sleep. And then we're told he has a dream, and Krishna appears to him saying, Gopal Bhatta, don't think like that. I've appeared to you. He's saying, I came out of stone for Prahlad. I've appeared to you. On account of your love and affection, I've come. And he goes and checks. So he had these 12 shalagrams. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. They all have names. And then he sees there are only 11. And in the place of the 12th shalagram is now revealed the form of Radha Raman. And we see to this supremely beautiful deity, Vrindavan, Radha Raman, with his Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham, beautiful Tribanga form. And Gopal Bhatta there establishes the worship of Radha Raman according to the principles in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. And to this day they have arguably, I would say, the most paka or first class deity worship according to what was established by Gopal Bhatta Goswami originally. So, and in his Archan Parati, Archan, that means the book of deity worship, how to properly worship deities. Then there'll be different prayers there. So, to show also thematically, consistently, the concept of Radha Dasyam, that is boldly, clearly stated by the Prayojan Tattva Acharya Raghunath Das Goswami, echoed by, Ashavare Amrita Sindhu Maya Katanchit, Kalo Mayati Gamita Kila Sampratam Hi, Tvam Chet Kripam Maya Vidasha Shinaiva Kimme, Prane Brajena Chabororu Bakarinapi. Sanatana Goswami, Radha Dasye Chava, and the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Rupa Goswami, what does Gopal Bhatta Goswami say? Govinda Balabhe Radhe Prartaye Tvamahang Sada. He speaks of Srimati Radharani as Govinda Balava. That means the lover of Krishna. Right? And the way Guru Maharaj expresses it, he's saying, oh, Krishna is saying, you want to have connection with me, direct connection with me. As Guru Maharaj said, even he thought, when he first came to Sri Gaudiya Math, that, he said, Rupa Goswami, first principle, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ado, Guru Padasrayam. The first thing, you have to take shelter of a guru. He's saying, yes, I can understand that, and then you take Diksha, engage in Seva, etc. He said, but I was thinking, someday my heart's inner hankering for direct connection with Krishna will be satisfied. But they're telling, this is the way that you get to that point. He said, but in time, I came to understand that the Vaishnava is everything. Right? And so, here, Krishna is saying, oh, you want to have a direct connection with me? And the way Srila Guru Maharaj said, he goes, Krishna is saying, that's not my department. If you want to have a direct connection with me, you want to be connected with me, then Govinda Balabha, Govinda Balabhe Radhe Prarte Tvamahang Sada. It is through Srimati Radharani that you will get Krishna connection. And supreme Krishna connection. The highest quality, the highest quantity, highest quality of Krishna. Through and I wanted to read this from it says here, Tvadiya iti janantu govindo mam tvayam sada. This prayer found in the Archana Padati, which comes from Gopal Bhatta Goswami's edition of Hari Bhakti Vilas. From there it has sprung through him. It is there in the Shastra, which is an eternal flow of a particular current of knowledge. That's what we were trying to say before. It's an eternal flow. The abode is an eternal flow. All of this is an eternal flow. He's saying everything is eternal in Vaikuntha and Goloka, just as the sun comes up and goes down, appears and disappears. The thought is eternal, sometimes appears and disappears. In this verse, Govinda Balabhe Radhe, there is a sudden turn. Krishna says to his devotee, oh, do you want an intimate relationship with me? It is not to be found within my department. You will have to go to another department. Go to the department of Radhika. Then at once the devotee's thought is transferred to that side. All his energy is monopolized there. It is her monopoly. Your inner quest is not to be found within my department, Krishna says. You'll have to go elsewhere and file a petition there. And with this inspiration, at once the devotee puts his petition to Radharani. Govinda Balabhe Radhe, O Sri Radhe, your master and sustainer is Govinda. He is the Lord of your heart. Govinda means he who can give fulfillment to all our senses. With our senses, we can feel perception as well as knowledge. Govinda is the master who gives fulfillment to all our channels of perception. Govinda is your Lord. But just the opposite is also true. You are mistress of the heart of Govinda. the Supreme Master, is it not? You are the queen of the heart of Govinda. I've been directed to come to you with my petition. Please enlist my name in your group and admit me as a servitor in your group. Then Radhe Vrindavanadishe Korunamrita Bahini Kripayani Japadabja Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyatam. O Sri Radhe, O Queen of Vrindavan, you are like a flowing river filled with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind upon me and bestow upon me some small service at your lotus feet. You are the queen of the whole management of ecstasy, Rasotsava. Rasa means ecstasy. That is an unlimited flow of ecstasy. That is the specialty of Vrindavan. Adi Rasa, the original rasa, Madhura Rasa, conjugal mellow. All rasas are branches of that rasa in its peculiar developing character. If analyzed, all rasas will be found within Madhura Rasa. And Madhura Rasa has been recognized as the highest mellow of devotion. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamritam, in the 4th chapter, Kaviraj Goswami wants to address the internal reason for the descent of Sri Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he begins by referencing the descent of Krishna, Krishna Lila. And he points out that in Krishna Lila, he has two aspects. Right? We know Krishna descends in this world. We hear so many pastimes where he's killing demons and saving the inhabitants in Vrindavan. Paritranaya sarunam vinashaya chaduskritam brajajana palana asurakula nashana. So that's one aspect, and the other is the exchange of rasa with his devotees. When he is Kumar, Nanda Kumar, Vatsalya Rasa with his parents, and his Poganda age, the pastimes with the cowherd boys, Sakya Rasa, and then as Kishore, his pastimes with Srimati Radharani and Braja Gopis when he's in his teenage. So he points out, but those two things. So what the secondary aspect is the demon killing, which is not actually done by Krishna. Right? Krishna is Rasaraj. Right? So his point of emphasis is rasa, the exchange of rasa with his devotees. And we're told the killing of the demons. Krishna is, Swayam Bhagavan, Avatari, all the incarnations, expansions. When Swayam Bhagavan Krishna comes, they all enter within him. So as a secondary function, Vishnu is doing. Vishnu who carries the Shank, Gada, Padma, Chakra. Right? So he carries the weapons, he does that. It's secondary to Krishna's primary reason is to come and display rasa, to reciprocate the raga marg of his devotees. So we're always thinking, we're generally thinking about our side, or how beneficial it will be for us to come in connection with Krishna. or in general, people with the different avatars of Krishna, incarnations, etc. Always from the side of the fallen souls, right? Or even liberated souls, how much they will appreciate Krishna. But what is mentioned in Charitamritam is very candid, very personal and intimate from Krishna's side, what he's thinking. So there we hear that he's saying, I will descend with my devotees and I will display pastimes that are unknown even in Vaikuntha. So what does that mean? Vaikuntha means Shantarasa, Dasyarasa. 2.5, Guru Maharaj said, in the case of some old-time servitors, moving towards some element of friendship. But so when he said, I will show the world pastimes unknown even in Vaikuntha. So that means with Vatsalya Rasa with Nanda and Yasoda, Sakya Rasa with the cowherd boys, and Madhura Rasa with the Brajagopis. And he mentions there that he's saying, my devotees, under the influence of Yogamaya, the Aiswarjagyan, or knowledge of my majestic aspect, of my divinity, will be eclipsed by the love and affection that's in their heart. He's saying, actually, if someone is too aware of my majestic aspect, Aiswarjagyan, that will constrict the natural flow of love from their heart, and I'm disappointed. And he's saying, and they won't be able to control me. I will not come under their influence or be controlled by them. We're told, Sri Krishna Karshini, Krishna Prem can control Krishna. Right? So he's revealing that if someone's too influenced or cannot overcome thinking of his majestic aspect, his divinity, then he's deprived of the natural love and affection that their hearts are capable of, and he's disappointed. Saying, whereas in Sakya Rasa, the devotees, they think that they're equal to Krishna, not in some arrogant, monistic, offensive sense, but the love and affection in their heart is suppressing the Aiswarja, majestic aspect, sending it into the background, that they can see him as an equal. Right? How much joy this gives to Krishna. Here's this, in this sense, the finite is now thinking that he's on an equal level with the infinite, right? But in a sweet, loving, affectionate way. And even challenging him. We hear, as the boys do, they challenge, they have wrestling, fights, different things, and the victors ride on the shoulders of the defeated. So Krishna is saying, how, if a cowherd boy comes up to him and says, you're not such a big man, I think I can defeat you. That is giving immense joy to him. And we know Gopyadade Twai Kritagasi Damatava Yate Drishashu Kalilanjana Sambramaksham. Kunti Devi said she is mesmerized and astonished by the vision of Krishna, who fear personified is afraid of. He's running away from his mother, having done some mischievous activities. And Mother Yasoda is chasing after him with a stick, and Krishna is crying, and the mascara is running from his lotus eyes, is running down his face as as he's running away from his mother. She said, I find this vision intoxicating. And then each step Krishna taking it a little further, and he said, and if my beloved Srimati Radharani is cursing me, chastising me for some perceived slight or misbehavior, he said, that steals my mind away from the reverential hymns of the Vedas. What are the Vedas saying? They're saying how great he is, how wonderful he is, his various incarnations. There's a never-ending series of prayers and praise, right, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and all of his avatars, manifestations, etc. And he's saying there's that, and then there's Srimati Radharani cursing me or chastising me for some perceived slight or misbehavior. And he said, that is so sweet to me. I can't concentrate on all that praise. I can't hear it. My mind has been captured by her. So we told before, Govinda Balaba, another of her names, Govinda Nandini, who's giving pleasure and joy to Krishna. Govinda Mohini, who's the captivator of Krishna. That her self-giving nature, self-sacrifice, is so wonderful and extreme that Krishna is bewildered. So Krishna will say, as the whole creation is mad with my aroma, right? Anything beautiful that we can smell is either directly or indirectly indicative of the divine aroma of Krishna. Saying, the whole creation is mad for that. I'm mad for the aroma of my beloved. When I play my flute, that sound drives everyone mad. Her sound is driving me mad. He goes through each one of the senses and says, as people feel that for me, I feel that for her. So he reveals, if I am, rasa personified, ananda personified, but what about me? He said, if someone were to give me happiness or to inspire me, they'd have to be 100 times more qualified than I am. He said, and that I find in Srimati Radharani. So, in that chapter, Kaviraj Goswami thinks, so as Krishna had these two aspects, the demon killing as a secondary aspect, the primary purpose was to come and display these sweet pastimes, loving exchange with his devotees. Still, Krishna says, there was observing the feelings and the ecstasy of the devotees left me in a position hankering to experience that. So, after Krishna Lila, 3 desires remained unfulfilled from my perspective. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kiddusho Vanayeva Swadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima Tad Bhavadya Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kiddusho Vanayeva. There's Bhakti Bhav, there's the love and affection that the devotees have, but of all the devotees, there's the supreme love and affection of Srimati Radharani. That's why it says, Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kiddusho Vanayeva, the sort of love that she alone experiences. which has been described elsewhere as Mahabhav. We're told Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakurani. So he's saying, that I want to experience. And Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima, the beauty and sweetness of Krishna. Saying, Srimati Radharani, she's, there's the beauty of Krishna, and she's like a mirror. So, as beautiful as Krishna is, the beauty of Krishna reflected into her, she becomes more beautiful. And in this way, we're told there's some sort of a divine competition of, and then Krishna seeing her looking more and more beautiful. That makes Krishna more beautiful. She's seeing Krishna, is pleased and happy. That's making her more happy. And then this competition is going on endlessly. And it's mentioned there as well that the pleasure of Srimati Radharani and the Braja Gopis is realized in seeing the happiness of Krishna. And Krishna seeing the beauty and the qualities of the Braja Gopis, this makes him more happy. When they see that Krishna is happy, that is their happiness expands. So it's saying there's no room, it's unlimited, there's no room for it to increase, yet it is increasing. It's at the limit of what it could be, and then it increases more. And this is going back and forth to them. So this thing about the mirror, so you can say Krishna is looking at them and seeing how they respond to him. And that awakens the curiosity within him to experience that. So Rupa Goswami gives a verse where he's saying Krishna in Dwaraka, he sees his reflection in a jeweled column and he's enchanted. And he's thinking, who is this person who's so beautiful? And now I am starting to feel like Radharani looking at this person. Saying, that's the effect that the beauty of this person is having upon me. So he's giving a hint there. There's also a famous verse in the Bhagavatam, Yamarta lilo payakam svayoga mayabalam darshataya grihitam vishmapanam yasya chasobhagardhe param param bhushana bhushanangam. Right? Krishna is the ornament's ornament. Right? Like we've seen in this world, when they want to sell something, a dress, jewelry, what you put on a supermodel. Right? And when people see that on this, it looks better somehow. Then they say, oh yeah, I want one of those. It's something like that. So Krishna, the ornament's ornament. Krishna with Barhapi Dhamma, with the peacock feather, with his charm. Whatever you connect with him, it looks more beautiful. Right? By dint of connection with Krishna. So, and we're told, not only that, Vishmapanam Yasha Chasobhagardhe, saying, Vishnu is astonished by the beauty of Krishna. Think of that for a moment. That Vishnu, so it doesn't mean that Krishna is marginally more beautiful than Vishnu. Right? Because from an objective point of view, we see paint, we think, well, it looks like, Vishnu kind of looks like Krishna with 4 arms. On a certain level, you might say that. But Vishnu is eager to see the beauty of Krishna. So for those who have the eyes to see, that means even the Godhead is astonished by the beauty of Krishna. As we heard, Jagannath astonished to see the dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No less than, what to speak of others, Jagannath himself is astonished to see the influence of the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani upon Krishna as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing before Dwaraka Krishna. So, he said, So 1, to experience the love that Srimati Radharani has. 2, that sweetness of Krishna. And 3, that bhav, means that love and affection, mahabhav, that is the possession of Srimati Radharani and the Braja Gopis. So, and just to say this, to conclude with this, that Krishna, as Guru Maharaj says, Yadamiyam mahima Sri Bhagavatyam katayam pratipadam anubhutam apya labdabideya tadakila rasamurti shamalila avalambam. All the Madhura rasa pastimes are dependent upon Srimati Radharani. It's not that she is the one of the group and is the leader of the group. That's true, but we're told here also, Krishna is saying that she is the person who is capable of giving me joy. She's Govinda Nandini. He's Govinda, but she's Govinda Nandini. He's saying, and without her, not the others. And what is the evidence of that, given from the Gita Govinda of Jayadev, quoted again in the Ramananda Samvad, Radha Madaya Hridaya Tatyaja Braja Sundari, in the Rasalila, in the midst of 1 billion trillion Braja Gopis, inconceivably beautiful and qualified Braja Gopis, that Srimati Radharani leaves, and you say, because she is, perceives equal treatment. So as Gandharva, she displays superior singing and dancing and then leaves. And Krishna, in the presence, we can say, of 1 trillion, to give some indication. Guru says, quality gives us relief from mathematics. How are we to understand her qualities? Gunairati varishyasi. That Tvaya yuvayor madhye radhika sarvatadhika mahabhava swarupayam gunairati varishyasi. That Krishna, in her absence, Radha Madaya Hridaya Tatyaja Braja Sundari, taking her into his heart exclusively, he leaves the trillion and goes searching for her. That's why later in this chapter there'll be a breaker called we have the book Search for Sri Krishna. This is the search for Sri Radha. So we could say quality gives us relief from mathematics. 1 trillion minus 1 is still 1 trillion, right? Not in this case. 1 trillion minus 1, Krishna cancels the remaining trillion of the trillion and goes to search for the 1. You see, that is the way the verse is revealing to us. How is she marginally more qualified or 1 trillion-fold more qualified? So when Krishna says, if I get it that everyone, I'm Rasaraj, Akila Rasamrita Murti, Rasika Shekhar, all these things, but who gives me joy but someone who would have to be more qualified than myself? And I don't find anyone more qualified than she, means Srimati Radharani. And to conclude, usually the 3rd time I say it is the last one. Kaviraj Goswami says, and what is, I'm saying all of these things here that are astonishing, they're radical, they're revolutionary conceptions. What is the Shastric basis for that? Rupa Goswami, Aparam Kasyapi Prane Janavradasya Kutuki, Rasotstamam Hritva Madhuram Upabhoktam Kamapiya, Rucham Swam Avre Dutim Taryam Prakatayam, Sat Chaitanya Devaskritir Atitaram Na Kripayatu. Rupa Goswami. It's the Rupanuga line. Rupa Goswami is everything, as Narottam has told us. And in this verse, he's saying, surveying that multitude, the trillion, he left them all. There was one who was more supremely qualified. And we should point out, as given there, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis. Remember, Mahaprabhu brought that book, Brahma Samhita, gave it to Swarup Damodar and the others. And what is it telling us? As Krishna expands into all these other forms, they're him, but same, but different. Right? They're also unique personalities. Srimati Radharani, he's Avatari, she's Ankshini. They all come from her. So the trillion are also come from her. So we're told the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha come from her. The queens of Dwaraka come from her. The gopis of Vrindavan expand from her. But they have individual personalities, but they come from her. She's the ultimate woman, female counterpart. She can expand into innumerable divine, Braja gopis, Dwarka queens, Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, and still she's the best. Right? And just to add to that, Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj said, and those jivas who have the inconceivable good fortune for this Madhura Rasa connection ultimately, which means with her, he says, they emanate Radha's Anga Jyoti also from her. So here we're told that verse of Rupa Goswami, surveying all of them, Param Kashyapi Prani Jana Vrindasya Kutuki. It awakened the curiosity in Krishna to experience her position. And what did he do? Hritva Madhuram Upabhoktum Kamapiya. He steals her heart and halo. She's not giving that, you can say, willingly, easily. Guru Maharaj says in the Saraswat Arati, that when she sees, what we have there is Krishna in the center, Mahabhav Radharani on the side. And what does she think? And when she looks at Gauranga and sees, oh, that's Krishna enveloped after he took my heart and halo, and now he's become Gauranga. Manda, Sumanda, Hasa, she's smiling, a very gentle, beautiful, sweet smile to see the influence her heart and halo has had upon Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jadi Gorna Hoita, Tabiki Hoita, Kamoni Daritam Dehe, Radhar Mahima, Prema, Rasasima, Jagata Janata Gay. If Gauranga had not come, we would never know the greatness of Srimati Radharani and the limits of limitless Krishna Prem, Mahabhav Rupini Radha Thakurani. Hare Krishna. Radha Dasyam. Hari Harai Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Harai Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Garadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. এই চাই গো চাই করি চরণ বন্দন যাহা হইতে বিঘ্ননাশ অভীষ্ট পুরাণ এই চাই গো চাই যার মুই তরদাস কাঞ্চ পর পদ রেণু মোর পঞ্চগ্রাস কান্ডের চরণ সেবী ভক্ত সনে বস জনমে জনমে মোরে অভিলাষ এই চাই গো চাই যাবে ব্রজে কৈলবাস রাধা কৃষ্ণ নিত্য লীলা করিল প্রকাশ আনন্দে বলো হরি ভজ বৃন্দাবন শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণব পদে মজাইয়া মন শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণব পাদ পদ্ম করিয়া হরি নাম সংকীর্তন করে নরোত্তম দায় হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে তাই গৌর হরি বো হরি বো হরি বো গৌর হরি বো নিতাই গৌর হরি বো হরি বো হরি বো গৌর হরি বো जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सिद्धर सद श्रीमद श्रील भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद श्रील भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर देव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय भगवान श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय जय सपरिकर श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग राधा गोविंद सुंदर जी की जय श्री गुरु गौरांग गंधर्व गोविंद सुंदर जी की जय श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौ भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोविनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नवदीप धाम की जय श्री चैतन्य सरस्वती मात की जय श्री गुप्त गोवर्धन की जय गंगा देवी जमुना देवी भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय ओम विष्णुपद विश्ववरेण्य श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय श्री चैतन्य सरस्वती माताचार्य वृंद की जय जय श्री भक्ति विमलावधूत महाराज की जय सन्यासी वृंद की जय श्री भक्ति ललिता देवी दासी की जय सेवा वृंद की जय समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
Keshavananda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Sundar Gopal Prabhu, Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, Gaur Nataraj Prabhu, Savarupa Didi, Krishna Kamini Didi from Mexico, Ajita Krishna Prabhu, Dhananjay Prabhu from Russia, Arjun Prabhu, Nimai Priya Didi from Ukraine, Kuladri Prabhu and Kalyani Didi from USA, Madhava Priya Didi from Colombia, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Philippines, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, UK, Anjali Didi from Chiang Mai, Krishna Mohini Didi, Spain, Vrindavaneshwari Didi, Brazil, Gurjit Aurora, Bhaktar Marlon Rodriguez from Gainesville, Florida, USA, and from Gaura Shakti Dasa, India. Dandavas to Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj and all the devotees of Gupta Govardhan. Srila Shridhar Maharaj's Vani is perfectly presented by Maharaj. Eternally indebted to Srila Goswami Maharaj for giving us Shri Guru and His grace, search for Shri Krishna, love and search for the lost sovereign, subjective evolution of consciousness and golden volcano.
Of divine love, yes, golden volcano of divine love. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna. Chaitanya Nitai Prabhu and Vrindavan Dandavat. Sandeep and Maheshri and Greater Naimisharanya Dandavat. Priyananda Didi and Lakta Dandavat. Jamuna's mother Elena in Moscow Dandavat. Kalindi Priya in Thailand Dandavat. Achyutananda and Yaroslavo Dandavat. Anandanidhi Prabhu and Crimea Dandavat. And Kalindi Priya's mom, Brinda, Devidasi and Nizhny Novgorod Dandavat. Abhiram Prabhu Dandavat. Anjali Didi and Kaselni Dandavat. We're all eating her cheese and using her soaps and, everything. Gaur Chandra Prabhu and Adhodka Dandavat. There's Anjali from Ukraine. I wondered if I name all of the girls in Ukraine Anjali. Wait, no, we have two. Dandavat. Leela Sundar Prabhu in Ukraine, Dandavat. Tarun in Moscow, Dandavat. Ira in Dandavat. Pavan and Krumtep Mahanakan. Pavan Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. Lakshmi Priya Didi in Ukraine, Dandavat. Ananta Shes Prabhu in Spain, Dandavat. Sulakshana is here doing Chinese translation. Rupa Vilas Prabhu in the Philippines, Dandavat. Praneshwari Didi does Spanish translation, Dandavat. Indumukhi and Mitra Benda in China, Dandavat. Aniruddha and Ganga. Oh, they're in Canada now. Hare Krishna, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Ananta Shes Prabhu in Spain, Dandavat. Leela Moy Prabhu, Dandavat. Leelavadi, Dandavat. Ananta Shakti is here, right? Bhagavan Das, Prafula Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. Ananda Murti, Dandavat. Rasananda, Dandavat. Nityananda Das does the Russian translation, Dandavat. Tava Kathamrita, Dandavat. And Ajita Krishna Prabhu and Kiselni, of course. Dandavat. All right, that's everyone. Vanchakalpatribhyascha kripa sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki jai.